Alright, hello and welcome to my Minecraft tutorial on how to make a wall of guns. Now about 11 months ago from the recording of this video, I made a tutorial video about how to make a gun. Now I didn't show you how to make the wall of guns, and since then I have added a few things to it, made it better, more compact, and the game has updated obviously since then. So we're going to go over what it does, I'm going to show you how it works, and then we're going to build it. Now, if you have any questions, this world is downloadable. You can click a link in the description to Mediafire, where you can then download the world and walk around, check out some of the stuff, and have fun. So let's see what this thing can do. Okay, so we just saw the demonstration of what it can do, but how does it work and how do we build one is big or even bigger? Well, I'm going to answer all those questions, and I'm going to pretend that you know nothing about redstone while I'm doing it. So, I am playing in creative mode. That is how I got the creeper eggs, that's how I'm going to get all the arrows and all that stuff. And this is, I think, version 1.4.6. I don't know if that matters. This is PC, so I don't know if this works on Xbox or not. So I'm going to start off by going in the inventory section and clicking on redstone. Now most of the stuff we need is in here. So I'm going to be using a redstone repeater, a stone button, a lever, redstone torch, dispenser, obviously to shoot all the arrows or whatever you want to use, and glass. Now glass is a very important uh, property that we're going to be using, and I'll also be using a block of iron to put all my redstone onto. So let's start off with the most basic concept of a dispenser gun. So we're going to place a dispenser on a block of iron, and let's hook it up to a lever. So I'm going to place the lever right here, and we're going to wire it. Make sure that the wire would be pointing at the dispenser for this. And let's put some arrows in it. So we need to get some of those. I'll get about, I don't know, 3 stacks of it. That should be good. And now when we put the arrows inside of the dispenser, we notice that if we turn the lever on, it will shoot an arrow. When we turn it off, nothing happens. Turn it back on, another arrow. Let's say we wanted to have the lever shoot an arrow every time anything has changed. So when it turns on, shoots an arrow. When it turns off, shoots an arrow. And we do that by adding a redstone torch. Now what that'll do is it'll basically make sure that the dispenser is always on or receptive to any kind of redstone change. So when it's on, shoots an arrow, and when we flick it off, it'll also shoot an arrow. But now what if you didn't want to have to click on a lever every single time? Well, we add a clock. And a clock is basically a redstone circuit that will constantly turn on and off at varying speeds. Now I want to use the fastest speed and have it controllable. So we do that. Actually, let's go over here and do that. Now the way this works is it uses 4 torches, so 1 here, 2 on this side, and then 2 on this side, and redstone that goes across. So that this torch will power itself, turn it on and then back off constantly. And then these different torches will burn out, but it will always blink. And that's why we use 4 torches. Now, if we want it configurable, we add a lever. So when this is on, this basically turns off. When this is off, this thing is basically activated, it turns on. So now if we apply that to our dispenser, we're going to do the same thing over here. 2 torches on each side, and redstone over here. So now it's constantly launching super fast, and then if we add a lever, it turns off. But let's say we wanted to add a wall of it. How would that work? So the way I've done it, I'm positive there's other ways, but to make a wall of guns like that, we are going to come up off the ground. Let's say, 3 blocks. And I'm going to start by adding our redstone torch. Now this is going to be the redstone torch that keeps the dispensers on constantly. And I wanted to put as many dispensers attached to those as I could. And I wanted to waste no room. So there's just constantly a wall of dispensers. So here we have it like this. So the redstone torch is powering these dispensers. And let's add a dispenser on top. So it's powering 2. And arrows can shoot past the redstone torch. So that's a plus. But now let's also add another layer of dispensers. So we need to add a block behind it, glass. We can take the glass away later. It's just for like scaffolding purposes or whatever right now. Okay, so now we want to add even more dispensers. Oh, it's getting dark. We'll change the time today. So we need to add more dispensers. But if we continue to do this, we'd run into the problem where we couldn't get that torch everywhere because we still want to keep adding more dispensers. Now the trick to doing that is to apply the redstone torch on top of the dispenser. But that's kind of tricky to do because let's say you have like a block here. How are you going to place the torch on top of the dispenser? It's just going to get stuck to the block behind it, and you can't put it on another dispenser. Well, the trick is to use glass. You right click on the glass and it will place the torch on top of the dispenser. And so that's the trick that I use. So you have to knock out this layer, add the glass, put the torches on, knock out the glass, and then reapply the dispensers. So it should look something like this. And then from there, we can add even more dispensers. Now for this, I'm not going to make it as big as the one behind me, this one. Because, I mean, you can just continue this process basically infinitely, and we don't need to go that big. That'd just take too long for the tutorial sake of this. So we're going to knock out all of our glass. Okay, so now we have all of the dispensers in place, and we have all of the redstone torches in place. But how do we get the 4 o'clock applied to this, and how do we keep going up infinitely if we wanted to keep making this bigger? Well, the trick is to come behind here. And this is where we're going to place all of our wiring. We're going to go up in this little area here, and you're going to put the blocks down. And we're going to do this up here too. So you just keep repeating this process infinitely. We need to have this bar of, I don't know, it could be dirt, anything that's not like glass, basically. I don't think you can put redstone on glass. So we're going to attach the redstone here, and you can hear the click of the dispensers as well. So after that, we need to find a way to get that powered. Now the way I do it is I come below, I go down a block like this, and I come out 5 blocks. So 2, 3, 4, 5. On this block, I place the redstone torch, and we just go straight like that. So basically, it's powering all the blocks. And if you have it bigger, you're just going to need to add more inputs. So this is eventually like going to die. I think if we come out 15 blocks away, you'll see the power stops. But up until this point, you can continue to add more dispensers. And then once you run out of room, like here it's dead, you're just going to add another torch over here and then link the two. And I'll show you how I did that on the other one at the end of this video. Okay, so now we have a torch, but let's get the clock on as well. So to do that, you can see there's a little hitbox here. And if we right click right here, we can actually add our block. That's a little tip. So we do the same thing as we were doing before. We just right click and place 4 torches. And then make sure you have the redstone on the top. Otherwise it's not going to work. So let's give it a test. On, off, on, off, on, off. And it constantly spams our dispensers. So we also need to do the same thing up here. So we're going to come down 1 block and then out 4. And the reason I do 4 is because we need to get this signal up. So to do that, we just keep stacking blocks of redstone torches. And this torch is going to power this block, which turns off our torch. And we can keep going up with that. That's how you do vertical wiring. But we have a problem, because if we were to make our clock, which I'll do that really quick, block, block, torch, torch. So 4 torches, and make sure there's redstone up there. This one's off while this one's on. That's our problem. Now to counter that, we can add a torch here. So when this torch is off, so should this one. See, they're both off, and they click to spam the arrows. And so that's how you get past that problem. And you can keep doing this infinitely upwards. But if you want to go horizontal, just make sure that you have a line of redstone. I would recommend doing something similar to this. Okay. So if you have it going, so when you need more power, all you do is add more clocks and then have the input go like this. It'll run through all of them. So you can just keep doing this infinitely. So when this is turned on, just like that. So you can keep going through the blocks, however long. You can make this literally infinitely. I don't know why you'd want to do that, but just in case you did. So now everything is wired. So let's give our dispensers some arrows. We don't need to fill all of them because that takes a while. It took me forever to load the other ones. And we'll just load different levels of them to make sure they all work. Okay, so now if we click our... Actually, let's wrap the wiring around so we can click the button as it goes. We'll just have this come over here. We'll do a lever. We're going to run the redstone back into the redstone torch. And then we'll click the lever. Alright, it works fine. Alright, so another idea, a couple ideas that the comments have said is to use things like fire charges or potions or something. So here I have a couple different designs of what we have over there. I just made it single. Now this one uses splash potions of poison. So it shoots the poison at a destination. But the main problem with this is that it won't work with these middle dispensers. Unfortunately, it'll hit the redstone torch. So that kind of sucks. Now you could put arrows in here or something like that. Next design is just arrows. This is what we already have. But I have added on to that with the one that's next to it over here. And that is to put a column of lava in front of the dispenser, which lights all of the arrows on fire. So let's... Okay, so we're going to click the button. And it's going to shoot fire arrows. Now let's see if they actually cause us to burn. Oops. Game mode 0. So now I'm in survival mode. I can be damaged. I can die. So I'm going to... Yep, I'm on fire. So they do light you on fire, or mobs for that matter. So there's that. Go back to creative mode. This one over here is fire charges, which are basically fireballs. It'll launch fireballs out of the dispensers. Now, the only bad part is, like the splash potions, it won't work with this middle dispenser. So this technique is really used for arrows, but it could work if you just take out these middle dispensers. So you can use these two. There might be a better method for doing that. I'll look into it and make maybe a follow-up video for that if you guys want. And this one is arrows with fire charges. So the alternative is to have these two spew out fireballs while these spew out arrows. So you can fill all of them. So it's something like that, you know, diverse. And finally back here, in case you guys want to know what this looks like, I have the input runs over here. So this is the button that you initially click, and then it sends power to these. Now, like I said, if you have the input running into here and it could just go this way, that would work as well. There might be a slight delay, but it would still work for the most part. So this is if you wanted to make a very large wall of guns. This would use tons of arrows, snowballs, whatever you wanted to use. And it'd be pretty cool. So I thank you for watching the video if you've made it this far. I read all the comments, so leave me some feedback. If you have a tutorial video that you want made, leave a comment. I'll definitely respond to you. If you want to download this world, links to Mediafire in the description. You can go download the world, walk around if you're confused or something like that. And if you like this video and want to see more tutorials, don't forget to subscribe. And I'll see you guys next time.